Welcome back. So we are on the last video of second chapter of 11th class NCERT chemistry back exercise, that is structure of atom. Congratulations, you have done that. Okay. So hope you are taking lots of notes and you are getting a lot of clarity on your concepts. I just want to talk about something to you today, that if you are not taking notes, start taking notes. You know why? When I was a student, I was not aware of learning in the right way. So there is a right way of learning. I don't say that you are learning in a wrong way, but if you write the things down with your own hand in a notebook, it retains more into your mind. Okay. So if you will take notes, what will happen? You will write. Okay. This will increase your speed. Most of the times when I was teaching as an assistant professor in a college, many of my students, they just used to come to me and they used to tell me that, ma'am, we were not able to complete the paper because we were knowing the answers, but time was short. And I always was like, how much written practice are you doing? So the written practice, it has a magical impact on your speed. My friends, even they were not able to complete their answer sheets. This was the reason. You need to start writing, okay? Keep writing the things, do a lot of written practice, and you know, I will not guarantee you anything. You will yourself see the results. Okay, so let us now move into the question number 61. So in this very video, I am covering all the 7 questions which are left, question number 61 to question number 67. Okay, so let us move into it. So let's see what is question number 61. So the statement for question number 61 is, if the position of the electron is measured with an accuracy of plus minus 0.002 nanometer, accuracy. This is the accuracy of position. This means delta X has been given to be equal to plus minus 0.002 nanometer. All right. Calculate the uncertainty in the momentum of the electron. So this is the question of Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. The uncertainty in position has been given and we need to find out what will be the uncertainty in momentum. So delta X into delta P is equal to h upon 4 pi. So this is according to Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. So we can just take it as 0.002 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 9 meter. So just put the value here, you will get delta P. So it will be h upon 4 pi delta X equal to 6.63 into 10 raised to the power minus 34 joule second upon 4 into 22 upon 7 multiplied by 0.002 multiplied by 10 raised to the power minus 9 meter. So it will come out to be equal to, so I'm using my calculator. You can use if you are allowed to use in the exam, otherwise don't use. Okay, I don't need to appear in the exams now, so I'm using it. So it is coming out to be equal to 263.7 multiplied by 10 raised to the power. So it is minus 34 plus 9 minus 25. Now what will be the units of momentum? Momentum is mass into volume. The uncertainty in momentum is mass into uncertainty in the velocity. Mass into velocity is momentum. So mass is in kg, velocity is in meter per second. So the units will be kg meter per second. So you can just convert it into scientific notation. It will be 2.637 into 10 raised to the power. Now you are shifting the decimal point to two places towards the left hand side. So the power will get added. So it will be minus 23 kg meter per second. Okay. Now there is another part to this question. Now let us see what is that part. Suppose the momentum of the electron is h upon 4 pi multiplied by 0.05 nanometer. Okay, delta P has been given. Is there any problem in defining this value? Okay, so the statement asks, that if we define this value as the delta P value, will there be any problem? Or if this is the value of delta P, will there be any problem? So it will be equal to 6.63 into 10 raised to the power minus 34 joule second upon 4 into 22 upon 7 multiplied by 0.05 into 10 raised to the power minus 9 meter. So it will come out to be equal to 6.63 divided by 0.05 multiplied by 7. So this is coming out to be equal to 10.55 into 10 raised to the power minus 25. Or we can say it is 1.055 into 10 raised to the power. We have shifted the decimal point 1 to the left hand side, so the power will get added. So it is minus 24 kg meter per second. Okay. Now, if you compare, this is the given value of the momentum. Okay. And this one, which we have calculated, this is the calculated value of momentum. Okay. Now, if you see that the uncertainty in the given value, it is the given value of momentum, it is smaller than the uncertainty. Given value of the momentum is smaller than the uncertainty. So this means if uncertainty is more than the actual value of the momentum, we will not be able to define it. This is the given value of momentum, okay, which is smaller than the uncertainty. Now, uncertainty cannot be more than the actual value of the quantity. So this cannot be defined. Okay. So hope this is clear. If it is not clear, you can just write in the comment section below. I will be explaining it in the next video. Okay. All right. So now let us move into the next question, that is question number 62. Before that, I am just clearing my screen off. Okay. So the question number 62 is the quantum numbers of 6 electrons are given below. Arrange them in order of increasing energies. If any of these combination has or have the same energies, then list. Okay, we need to write the increasing order of the energies. We have been given the 6 electrons, and for those 6 electrons, we have been given the values for the quantum numbers. Okay, so the first one is, this is question number 62. First one is n equal to 4, L equal to 2, ML equal to minus 2, MS equal to minus half. Then second is n equal to 3, L equal to 2, ML equal to 1, MS equal to plus half. Third one is n equal to 4, L equal to 1, ML equal to 0, MS equal to plus half. Fourth one is n equal to 3, L equal to 2, ML equal to minus 2, MS equal to minus half. Fifth one is n equal to 3, L equal to 1, ML equal to minus 1, MS equal to plus half. Sixth one is n equal to 4, L equal to 1, ML equal to 0, MS equal to plus half. Now we need to arrange all these into increasing order of their energy. That is, lowest energy one will be written first, and then the last will be the one with highest energy. Okay, first of all, before doing that, we just can write the symbols for these orbitals. Okay, so L equal to, when 0, 1 and 2, so maximum value of L given here is 2. So we take it up to 2. So S, P and D. So the first orbital is 4d orbital. Second orbital is 3d orbital. Third one is 4p orbital. Fourth one is 3d orbital. Fifth one is 3p orbital. And the sixth one is 4p orbital. Okay, we need to arrange these. Now, the rule used here will be n plus L rule. Greater the value of n plus L, greater the energy. Smaller the value of n plus L, smaller the energy. equal values of n plus L, equal energy. But if you suppose that the value of n is different, but n plus L is coming out to be the same, then the one which is having lower value of n, it will be having the lower energy, and the one which is having higher value of n, it will be at the higher energy. Okay, let us now move into it. Okay, so we can just see for the first one, n plus L is equal to 6. Second one, n plus L is equal to 5. Third one, n plus L is 5. Again 5. Then this is 4 and this one is 5. Okay, so the very first orbital that will be having the lowest energy, it will be 3p orbital. Now after 3p, which orbital will come? 3d orbital. So the second one and the fourth one, these two will be at the same energy level. So 3p is having lesser energy than 3d, equal to, I can just write 3p, that is the fifth one. It is having energy less than 3d, that is the second one, equal to energy of 3d, that is the fourth one. Then after 3d, there will be 4p. So less than the third one, equal to sixth one, less than the first one, 4d. So the highest energy will be of 4d and the lowest energy will be of 3p. Now here we have been given the values of ml. That is the magnetic quantum number. Now in this case, if ms is given, ms will not have any impact on the energy. That is only the spin quantum number. It can either be clockwise or it can be anti-clockwise. Now, when we are talking about the ml values will not be having any impact on the energy of the orbitals, because if I say that I have d orbitals, there are 5d orbitals, 0, -1, -2, +1, +2. These are the ml values, right? Now these all orbitals, they are at the same energy level, that is, they are degenerate orbitals. So ml values will not be having any impact. Okay, so here in this case, because all the d orbitals, they are at the same energy level, that is, they are degenerate, we will be only considering the n and l values. Hope this is clear to you. Now let us now move into the next question, that is question number 63. Question number 63. Okay, the bromine atom possesses 35 electrons. It contains 6 electrons in 2p. Okay, 2p, it has 6 electrons. 3p, in the 3p orbital, it has 5 electrons. 3p orbital, it has 5 electrons. How can it be having 5 electrons in 3p? No, it is having 6 electrons in 3p also. So I got mistaken. Okay, 3p has 6 electrons. Okay, then next is 4p. 4p is having 5 electrons. Which of these electrons experiences the lowest effective nuclear charge? Now, what is effective nuclear charge? It is the force of attraction experienced by an electron from the nucleus. That is effective nuclear charge. Okay, so closer the electron to the nucleus, more is the effective nuclear charge experienced by it. Okay, farther the electron from the nucleus, lesser will be the effective nuclear charge experienced. Now, if you see 2p, 3p and 4p orbitals, 4p is the farthest orbital from the nucleus. So the electron in the 4p orbital, it will experience the minimum effective nuclear charge. So the answer is this one, 4p orbital, it will experience lowest effective nuclear charge. Okay, hope this is clear to you. Let us now move into question number 64. Okay. Now the question number 64 is, among the following pairs of orbitals, which orbital will experience the larger effective nuclear charge? So we have been given pairs of orbitals and we need to tell which out of the two, which one will experience more effective nuclear charge. So the first pair is 2s and 3s. So closer to the nucleus, more effective nuclear charge. So in this case, 2s will get more effective nuclear charge. So it will experience more effective nuclear charge. Then second is 4d and 4f. Now, before 4f, 4d comes. So here 4d is closer to the nucleus, so it will experience more effective nuclear charge. The third one is 3d and 3p. So here, because 3p will be closer to the nucleus, so it will experience greater effective nuclear charge. All right, so this is quite simple. Let us now move into question number 65. Question number 65. Let's see what is that question. Question number 65 says the unpaired electrons in aluminum and silicon are present in the 3p orbital. Okay, so aluminum is, its atomic number is 13, silicon it is 14. Okay, so the unpaired electrons are present in the 3p orbital. Which electrons will experience more effective nuclear charge from the nucleus? Okay, so now we have to compare for two different atoms. So if you see the outermost electronic configuration of aluminum, it is 3s2 3p1. Okay, in case of silicon, it is 3s2 3p2. Now what happens? We are moving along the period. If you see this period, after aluminum, there will be silicon. When we move along the period, what happens is the number of electrons increases. With each adding electron, there is also addition of one proton. That is, the nuclear charge is also increasing. Now, when the electron is entering in the same orbital, the nuclear charge is increasing and the effective nuclear charge is also increasing. Here, the effective nuclear charge is 13. Here, the nuclear charge is 14. If the number of electrons is 13, nuclear charge will be 13. Number of electrons is 14 in case of an atom. I'm not talking about the ions. Okay, so here there will be 14 nuclear charge. Now this nuclear charge, because the electron is getting added to the same orbital, the effective nuclear charge will be more. So silicon will experience greater effective nuclear charge. Greater effective nuclear charge. Hope this is clear to you. Okay, then next is question number 66. Indicate the number of unpaired electrons in, okay, so we just need to tell what will be the number of unpaired electrons in the following atoms that we have been given. So phosphorus, 15 atomic number, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3px1, 3py1, 3pz1. So we can just see 3 unpaired electrons are there. Then it is silicon. Silicon is 14. 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3px1, 3py1. 2 unpaired electrons. Next is chromium. So chromium has exceptional electronic configuration. Okay. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. So, or we can just write argon. Now I have written it all. So I will continue with this. So it is 3d5, 4s1. So it will be having 6 unpaired electrons. Next is iron. For iron, the electronic configuration, here I can just write argon. Here it will be 3d6, 4s2. So there will be, now if we talk about 3d6, there will be 5 electrons filling first, and once all the 5 orbitals are filled, there will start the pairing of electrons. So there are 4 unpaired electrons in iron. When we are talking about krypton, its atomic number is 36. Now krypton is a noble gas. Noble gases have completely filled orbitals, so there will be no unpaired electron in krypton. So you just can write the electronic configuration of krypton yourself. Okay. So let us now move into question number 67. So question number 67 is, how many subshells are associated with n equal to 4? Okay, the subshells are the S, P, D, F. These are the subshells. So this is the shell, 4th shell. It is further divided into 4 subshells, S subshell, P, D, and F. Then next, this Px, Py, Pz, these are the orbitals. Okay, first shell comes, then subshell, then orbital. Okay, So we have been asked that how many subshells are there? There are 4 subshells. Which one? S, P, D, and F. Okay. How many electrons? This was the part A of this question, that how many subshells are there. The B part of this question is how many electrons will be present in the subshells having ms value of -12. ms -12, n equal to 4, that is principal quantum number is still 4, and we need to tell how many electrons will have ms, that is the spin value, equal to -12. I think this question we have already done in the previous videos also. This is a repetitive question. So the total number of electrons in a shell are equal to 2 multiplied by n square, where n is the principal quantum number. N is the principal quantum number. So 2 multiplied by 4 square, it will be 2 into 16 equal to 32. So total 32 electrons can be there. Now half of the electrons will be having +12 spin and half will be having -12 spin. So 16 electrons will have -12 spin quantum number. So hope this is clear to you. So this is the last question of this very chapter, that is structure of an atom. So we are done with this chapter, and congratulations if you are also have done this along with me. Okay, keep doing the things. You know what I do, you might have observed during the videos, I repeat the things. How I repeat the things? Like when I'm shifting a decimal point, I will speak it out. When we shift it to the right hand side, we need to do this, or when we need to shift it to the left hand side, we need to add power. You know why? Because when we repeat the things, they get retained in our mind. So I have studied under my mentor Blair Singer. He says repetition is the key to mastery. So always keep revising the things. Okay, so it will work like magic for you. So whenever I repeat the things, you need to do it yourself. I'm just reminding you. And one more tip I want to give you here, that whenever you are doing these questions, first try these questions yourself and then watch the video and compare your answers and see if you have made any kind of mistake. So by this, you will be coming to know how you are making mistakes and how you can improve on those. All right. So in the next video, I will be starting the next chapter. That is the 3rd chapter of 11th class NCERT chemistry back exercise. I will be covering all the questions of that chapter from the next video onwards. All right. See you there.